give honor to God. I know that you don't hear politicians talk too much about God. Amen. Although we take our oath of office, I believe, and the Lieutenant Governor can correct me, we end by saying, so help me God. Because politics, the arena, is not easy. Just to give you a little definition, and you may not find this in Webster, but the poly is Latin, which means more than one. But a tick is an insect that sucks the blood of whatever it touches in order to sustain itself. Well, it's a poly. So when you deal with politics, you're dealing with a multitude, not just one, but more than one bloodsuckers. It is not only dealing with the person that's taking the oath, but it's dealing with those who come around the politician. Because once you sit in the seat, now it's time to govern. And campaigning is different from governing. Because now tough decisions have to be made. And this is when you begin to deal with the bloodsuckers. I mean, pardon me if that's offensive, but this is the money people that come into play when you talk about politics. I want to read something from our first president. Is that all right? It reads, and this is George Washington: government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is a force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. For a moment, should it be left to irresponsible action. Never for a moment, pardon me, should it be left to irresponsible action. You know, fire can keep you warm when it's cold. I don't know anybody that likes cold food. But if fire is out of control, it can kill. And I respectively say that this new bill that has been introduced has come from the hands of irresponsible action. And before too many days go over my head, you'll see it burning out of control. I wrote an open letter to all residents in Michigan. You probably didn't get it. They printed it in the Herald Palladium. talked about how this legislation, it was voted along party lines. But it was a Pyrrhic victory. Go and do a little research on Pyrrhus. He was a character in history. I don't have time to get into that dialogue. But he was a Roman general who was victorious at many wars. But it was one particular war that he won, what he lost in exchange. It was so great that his victory fell into insignificance, which is where the term of Pyrrhic victory came from. So they may have won on the legislative side, but what they have lost in terms of principle, the principles that govern this nation, what they have lost socially. Because people will begin, as they are doing in Wisconsin, the judge that the governor wanted to get in did not prevail. Because the people voted for someone else. I close. You know, the debt federally, Commissioner Seats mentioned how in politics or in government the money trickles down. Okay. Because the financial manager was sent in to correct the finances. Now, Benton Harbor in 1989, according to Money Magazine, was the worst city to live in the country. Public Act 72 of 1990 became law a year later. Why didn't the government take over then? These are questions that you should ask. If it's about finances. But there were some things politically that needed to be done in Benton Harbor that was not expedient or convenient for state takeover at that time. If you look at who brought up all of the property in the city of Benton Harbor from 1990 to 2008, guess who it is? Cornerstone Alliance. That was headed up by Jeff Knoll, who is now the Vice President of Communications or Public Affairs at Whirlpool Corporation. So when the city was selling property to make payroll in the 90s, in 2000, was there an emergency? Yes. But why didn't you come in? Because you wanted to get all of the resources, the land, before you come in and take over. But when power cannot control elections, when they have lost their ability to put in candidates that are convenient for business, then now we have to come in with force, which is government, and do a takeover. So the takeover in Benton Harbor, I called it a coup d'etat. And I stand on that point to this day. And I'll take anybody to task in the way of civil argument that is an absolute fact. When I saw Governor Granholm, when we went in the room, for the $68 million office complex. And it was the mayor, myself, Chairman Frederick, Governor Granholm, and a few aides. Then I saw where the power was at. I know. I said the wrong thing. But power concedes nothing without a demand that is backed by a force, and that force is the people. God bless.